Hello, it's Miss W here. Alright, so today we're going to take a look at the Microsoft Word interface, and more specifically we're going to work on formatting your actual document. So we're not talking about fonts or tables or graphics. We're talking about the literal page and the tools that will help you to make the most of it. Now, our first habit is to keep things zoomed in rather large at usually 100 or 125%. What I'm going to have you do is change your zoom up here, and you should follow my arrow after watching the video one time. Change your zoom to whole page. Now the reason that we do this when we're working on strictly formatting is so that we can actually see the entire document. Afterwards, when you're typing the text of your page, no big deal, you can zoom in so you can see the actual writing. But for now, zooming in to whole page is what's best for us. Alright? Now, we've talked in the past about the tabs across the top, so I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that. We're going to go to Document Elements. Right here's the third tab. I just want to make sure that all of these things are closed. We don't need our header or footer. Okay, so all of those things are set. Our default is fine. And then under Layout, your second tab, one of the first buttons that always kind of throws students for a loop is Orientation. And very easy way to remember. Portrait is just as it sounds. It's the way a traditional photograph of yourself would look, going up and down. Landscape is turned horizontally. Alright? So for today, just for the sake of conversation, we're going to keep ours oriented in the landscape position. Alright? Your margins. Because we're going to be designing something that doesn't require a huge margin. Standard is about 1 inch, as you can see here. We're going to change ours to narrow. So as you see the number of inches, our margins all the way around are only going to be 1/2 inch. Alright? Now, last two things. I want to show you how you can change the actual color of your page and the borders. These are the most basic options. You can change your document color to whatever you'd like. But I thought it might be kind of cool to take a look at the fill effects. Alright, here you start, under fill effects, you start looking at things like gradients. Gradients is where you can combine more than one color in a linear pattern. So, as it says here, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. Then there's also from the corner. For the sake of conversation, we're going to look at diagonal down today, and we're going to do 2 colors. My favorite colors happen to be blue and white, so we'll go with that. Okay, and I'm going to choose this one because I like blue a little better. Now we're going to click OK to actually apply the changes that we've made so you can see what it looks like on the page. Okay. Beautiful pattern, looks really nice, and depending on the work that you're doing, it can be very cool. A warning though, when you're using more than one color in the background of a document, you've got to keep in mind your font colors. So on this pattern, for example, we wouldn't want to use a white font. It would be very difficult for your audience to read. If you go back to color again and fill effects again, there's actually a few more options that I'd like to show you. We start here at gradient. We're going to go to texture, and it gives you a large variety of pre-described textures. These are textiles, these are stones, brick, etc. Patterns can be made custom, just like your gradient was. You can choose any pattern you want and then change the color combination. I'm going to go with purple. Alright, and I'm going to choose something that'll be easy to see. I'm going to use this diamond pattern. Okay, now again, another warning: when you're using colored and or patterned backgrounds, you've got to be very aware of your fonts. On a very small pattern background like this, you shouldn't choose a font that has a lot of script or cursive or curves. It'll be very difficult for the reader. And if you do choose to do that, there's some other details we'll learn later in class about what to put behind the text to make it easier on the eyes. Last piece, last option I'd want to show you today for background colors. If you go back to color again, fill effects again, and then picture, you can actually use the photo library of your computer to choose a photo background for your document. Now I've got quite a few images here for different projects that I've done. I'm going to use these paw prints just because I know that they'll give us the effect that I'm looking for. So this image is a large enough image that it's a continuous pattern throughout the page. You need to know though that if you choose from the internet a smaller image, it will not stretch across the entire page. What you may end up with is something that's called tiling. So what you might see is your picture more than once on the background of your page. Okay? So you'll have to do some playing to find one that's perfect for you. I'm going to go back and change ours to something a little easier to work with so that you can see the next thing I want to show you. So I'm going to choose a 2-color gradient with the soft peach color. Alright, so last piece for the day, for this lesson. Same tab, we're still under layout. We're going to go to the next button over. It says borders. Alright, borders can be so much fun. So I'm going to choose the option that says box. And you can see your preview growing here on the right hand side. I have one in particular that I like for things like certificates, but that's just my preference. So I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to change. Now this option here that says width, it's the actual thickness of your lines. For something like a certificate, I like to choose a wider line, so I'm going to use a 6-point line or width. And now the color. Remember, we changed the background color of our document to that white and peach. If you're putting a border on it, you want to choose a darker color that will contrast nicely. So today I'm just going to go ahead and choose a dark green. I think it'll look nice. Okay? So you've learned today, just to recap our objectives and what we've done, you've learned today how to change your zoom. You've learned how to change the orientation of your page. You've learned how to change the background color and how to insert a border. Alright, with that same tool, by the way, if you go back to layout and border, there is a library of pre-described borders with different themes, Christmas trees and stars, apples, hearts. So there are some nice ones here that you can play with after the lesson is over for your assignment today. But I'm going to keep mine as is. Alright? Thanks for your attention, guys. Goodbye.